All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To the Honorable Mrs. Dewi Sukmasari, S.A. M.SA, CAKT, to the Honorable Mrs. Syaharani Fathia, S.A. M.Ak. In order to fulfill our final assessment, we're going to presentate about project-based learning entitled A Comprehensive Review of PSAK Implementation at PT Kino Indonesia Tbk and PT Martina Berto Tbk from 2020 till 2022. Before we embark on the presentation, let's take a moment to introduce ourselves. First of all, my name is Dewi Nuryanti Kharisma Putri with my last three digit of my MBM 029 and my friend.
My name is Fariz Al Abqariy with the last three digit of NPM is 104.
All right, so before that, we're gonna talk about PT Kino and PT Martina Berto. So basically, PT Kino Indonesia Tbk is integrated consumer goods manufacture and distribution activities with products such as body cares, foods and beverages, and premises. Currently, Kino Indonesia has 19 brands with 16 product categories, where some of them are successful in acquiring a top brand choice among consumers. Kino Indonesia also had another joint venture with Morinaga and Company Limited from Japan to expand our business in Indonesia. It is PT Morinaga Kino Indonesia, which officially formed in 2013. And PT Martina Berto Tbk is engaged in manufacturing and trading of traditional herbal, or we call it jamu, and domestic products. The company started commercial operations on December 1981, and the products of the company are marketed in the domestic and international markets. So this is a brief financial statement in PT Kino Indonesia Tbk that will be delivered by my friend Fariz Al Abqariy. To Fariz, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for Dewi for the opportunity and the time. So jumping to the overview financial statement of PT Kino Indonesia Tbk, as you can see in the slides, this the financial position from the 2020 and 2021. As you can see in the slide, the total current assets from the 2020 is 2562 and the 2021 is 2397. And so with this data, the total current asset has decreased for like 7% on the 2021. From the total of liability is from the 2020 stated here by 2678, and from the 2021 is 2683. It has a slightly decreased for like 0.018%. And the next slide. And this is the financial position, the equity part of the PT Kino Indonesia. For the total equity in 2020 is 2577, and for the 2021 is 2663. And from this data, we can conclude that the equity is increasing for like 4.14% from the 2020 to 2021. Next slide. This is the statement of financial position in 2022. The total current asset is increased for like 14% from the 2397 stated in the slides, and in the 2022 is 1688. It is like decrease for like 40%, 14%. And then for the liability part, the total liability is increased for like 18% from 2657 to 3142. Okay, this is the equity part of financial position, and it's surprisingly has decreased for around 75% from 2688 to 1533. It's like so much decrease from 2021 to 2022. Okay, and this is the income statement of PT Kino. As you can see, the gross profit in 2022 is 1,926, and in 2021 is 1,795. With the selling, slightly increase in selling expense, and the general and administrative expense is also decreased, and the interest expense is increasing, and the other increase and decrease for the other account. And from the income before income tax expense is decreased from like 135 billion to 127 billion. This is totaling the net income in 2020 is 113 billion, and in the 2021 is 100 billion point 649 million. There is some decrease for like 13% from 113 billion to 100 billion. And the right side is the other comprehensive income and loss. There's again on land revaluation property plant and equipment from 2022 is 4,357 million. In 2021 is increasing for like 10 billion into the 14,536 million. This is totaling the total the other comprehensive income loss for like 2 billion in 2022, and the total comprehensive income in 2021 is 21,752 million. This is totaling comprehensive income in 2020 is 110 billion rupiah, and in 2021 is 122 billion rupiah. Okay, totaling the net income is for like 113 billion in 2020, and in 2021 the net income is decreased to 100 billion. Okay, next. This is the income statement for the 2022 period. The gross profit is decreased to 1,308 billion, and this is affecting the income before tax expense from the 2020 is 123 billion, while in the 2020 is minus 917 billion. For the net income loss from the 2020 is 97 billion, and for the 2022 from the 2022 is minus 950 billion. In the right side, for the other comprehensive income loss, there's the gain on land revaluation property plant and equipment is 14 billion from the 2021, and it decreased to 9 billion in 2022. And there's the total other comprehensive income in 2021 is 12 billion, while in 2022 is decreased to only 3 billion. This affecting the net income. The net income loss from the 2021 is 97 billion, while in the 2022 is minus 950 billion. Okay, next slide. And next is a statement of changes in equity from PT Kino Indonesia Tbk. As you can see, the capital for in January 2020 is 142 billion, while in the 31 December in 2020 is still the same, 142 billion rupiah. And also with the paid in capital is still the same in 1 January 2020 is 710, and in the end of December 2020 is still the same, but the differences in value of transaction with non-controlling interest is have slightly decreased for like 550,915. And for the years 2021, the capital in 1 January of 2021 is 142,857, and so there's still amount for the end of period December 31, 2021. So this is there is no this show that there is no slightly change from 2020 and 2021 in the change in equity. And next, this is the statement of change in equity 2022. As we can see, the capital in 1 January 2022 is still the same as the previous year. It is still 142 billion 857, and so, and but the treasury shares has decreased for like 193 billion, and the total equity is like decrease from the beginning of January is 2 trillion point 688, and the end of December is 1 trillion 533. Okay, next. Okay, next is the statement of cash flow from PT Kino Indonesia Tbk in 2020 to 2021. As we can see, the cash flow from operating activities for the receipt from customer section, there's a slightly increase from like 3 billion, for 3 trillion to 4 trillion. There is increase for like 0.3 trillion right there. And then the net cash from operating activities is increase from minus 71 billion to positive 591 billion. And then the net cash from investing activities have slightly decreased from minus 384 billion to 353. And then there's the net cash from financing activities is decrease from 385 billion to minus 235. And then for the net increase in cash and cash equivalent as decrease for the 2021 from minus 70 billion to minus 70 billion to 1 billion. And then for the effect of changes in foreign exchange has decreased from 3 billion to 4 billion, minus 4 billion. And then for the cash equivalent and bank overdraft at beginning of the year is decreased from 251 billion to 183 billion. And this is totaling the net of the net increase is decreasing from 183 to 181. Okay, next. This is the statement of cash flow in 2022. We can see here that the net cash from operating activities is decreasing in 2022 from 591 to 240. And then there's the net cash used in investing activities is slightly changed from the 2021 is 353, and then the 2022 is minus 257. And then the net cash from financial activities is also increased from minus 235 to 26 billion. And from the right side, there's the net increase in cash and cash equivalent. There's the increase from 1 billion to like 9 billion. And then the effect of changes in foreign exchange rate, there's slightly change from minus 4 billion to 14 billion to minus 14 billion. And the cash equivalent and bank overdraft at the end of the year is decreasing from 181 billion to 176 billion. This is totaling the net increase in the cash in 2021 from 181 to 176 in 2022. Okay. Next.
All right, thank you, Fariz, for explaining the PT Kino Indonesia Tbk side. So right now I'm going to explain the changes. I mean the overview of financial statement and at the PT Martina Berto Tbk side. So for the statement of financial position for 2020 till 2021, as you can see right here on the screen, that the image shown on the screen indicates the assets condition of PT Martina Berto in 2020 and 2021 with their current assets and non-current assets. So it's referring to the consolidated financial statement of PT Martina Berto. So the total of current assets is decreasing, and the current assets in 2022, while the current assets in 2021 is for about like 170 trillion or something. So the data shows that the current assets is decreasing around 6.97%, while the current assets decrease in 2021. The non-current assets of the company also decrease for around like 47.9%. And with this, the total asset decrease for like 37.53%. All right, so for the liability side, it indicates the liability condition of PT Martina Berto in 2020 and 2021. So the current liabilities is decreased around 30.81%, and the current liability decrease for totaling the percentage for like 1 up to 100 and so on. And with this, the total liabilities for the company decrease for around 43.27%. And then for the equity side, the image on the screen indicates the equity condition of PT Martina Berto. So in 2020, it has like totaling a decrease of around 33.96%, and with the whole equity and liabilities, the total liabilities and equity is decreased for around 37.53%. Next, for the period 2022, on the asset side, it has like the current asset in 2022, it has like increased around 12.75%, while the current asset increased in 2022. The non-current asset of the company show a decrease from like for about like 2.67%, and with this, the total asset in 2022 increased from 714 trillion or anything, is for like increasing about 0.98%. And for the liability side, the current liability is decreasing for like about 30.81%, while the current liability decrease. The non-current liabilities of the company also decrease for like about up to 100%, and with the total liabilities for the company decrease about 43.27%. And then for the equity side, the total liabilities and equity in 2022 is increased about 1.14%. So for the conclusion, the consolidated financial reports show that the financial status of PT Martina Berto decreased and increased over 3 years. From the total assets, PT Martina Berto got a significant decrease in 2021, but they were able to increase it again in 2022. From the total liabilities and equity, same as the current assets, the number of total liabilities and equity is declining for 37.53%, and in the 2022 PT Martina Berto, only able to increase it for like 1.14%. All right, I'm gonna talk about the income statement for the period 2020 till 2021 for PT Martina Berto. So it can be seen from PT Martina Berto Tbk comprehensive profit and loss report that in 2020 leading up to 2021 there was a significant decline, namely from 90 billion to 66 billion. However, in the 2022 something good happened, namely gross profit will increase from the previous 66 billion to 133 billion. So this can happen because it is stimulated by a positive increase in PT Martina Berto Tbk and net sales in this year, I mean the 2022. All right, we're going to continue with the statement of changes in equity for the period 2020 till 2022. All right, it can be seen from the report on changes in equity of PT Kino Indonesia Tbk that there is an increase in equity which looks positive, namely like 3.4%, which is caused by a decrease in losses in profit for the year for about 38%. That in 2021, PT Kino Indonesia Tbk earned a comprehensive profit for like it is a sign of increasing, whereas the previous year, namely 2021, it earned a comprehensive profit. However, there was a decrease in retained earnings for like about 7.4% from the previous year. And then for the year 2022, in 2022, it experienced like a comprehensive loss, where in 2021, it received a comprehensive profit loss too. And in 2022, it generated a comprehensive profit of for about 39 billion. So I think that there will be no increase in paid-in capital in 2022, so it will not be affected by changes in PT Martina Berto Tbk's equity. All right, for the last one, it's about cash flow statement of PT Martina Berto Tbk for the year 2020 till 2021. So PT Martina Berto Tbk's cash from flow report for the year and 31st December 2021. It consists of three main cash flow groups, namely cash flow from operating activities, which experienced an increase and which was influenced by an increase in income tax payments. Furthermore, cash flow from investment activities increased with a nominal amount of for about 181 billion, which was influenced by the increase in proceeds from the sale of fixed assets. And then for the statement of cash flow 2022, PT Martina Berto Tbk's cash flow report for the year ending 31st December 2022 is divided into three main groups. Also, from operating activities as stated in the cash flow report, which decreased from the previous year with a nominal value of for about 114 billion due to payments to suppliers, income tax payments received from customers, and so on. So cash flow from investment activities generally also decreased with a nominal value of for about 172 billion. All right, we're gonna continue with the ratio analysis that will be delivered by Fariz.
Okay, so this is the ratio analysis from the PT Kino Indonesia Tbk. As you can see on the slide, the return on assets or ROA from the 2020 is decreased in 2021 from 2.16% to 1.83%, but it has a significant decrease in 2022 also from 1.83% to minus 20.32% in 2022. That this means that the company is not using its asset as efficiently as it did in the past. It means from the 2022. And then from the return on equity side, the ROE has decreased by okay, and then from the return on equity or ROE side, there's a decrease from 4.35 in 2020 to 3.64% in 2021. And then in 2022, also decrease from 3.64 to minus 61.96%. It means also that in 2022 they didn't do the return on equity job as efficient as before, as the previous year, because there is the decrease in the running years. And then from the net income to net sales, there's the decrease also from the 2020 is 2.82%. And when it comes to 2021, it's slightly decreased to 2.46%. And then in 2022, again, there's a significant decrease into minus 26.17%. And then from the current ratio, surprisingly, there is a slightly increase in 2021 from 1.19% to 1.51%. There's a slightly increase there. And then in 2022, again, they are having a decrease in current ratio to 0.87%. And then for the ratio of interest-bearing debt to total equity, is still the same from the 2020 is 0.71. In the 2021 is still the same 0.71. But in 2022, there's an increase in ratio of interest-bearing debt to total equity to slightly increasing to 1.51. And then for the ratio of interest-bearing debt to total assets, there is a slightly increase for around 0.01 in 2021. And then there is also increasing in 2022 to 0.49. Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you, Fariz. I'm going to continue with the ratio analysis for PT Martina Berto Tbk. So this table shows the 3 years of ratio analysis from the 2020 till 2020 till 2022. So on the return on assets, the ROA is decreasing for about like 40.74% from the 2.60% in 2022 to minus 20.32% in 2022. So it means that the company is not using its assets as efficiently as it did in the past. And for the return on equity, the ROA decreased for about 24.37% from 4.35% in 2022 to minus 61.96% in 2022. So it means that the company is not using its equity as efficiently as it did in the past year or the previous year. So for the net income to net sales ratio, the net income to net sales ratio decreased for about 28.1% from 2.82% in 2022 to minus 26.17% in 2022. So this means that the company is generating less profit from its sales than it did in the past, the previous year. And for the current ratio decreased also for like about 42.38% from 1.51 in 2022 to 0.39% 0.87 in 2022. So this means that the company is less liquid than it was in the past, and it may have like difficulty meeting its short-term obligations. And for the ratio of interest-bearing debt to total equity, the ratio of interest-bearing debt to total equity like increasing by to like 12.68% from 0.71 in 2022 to 1.51 in 2020. From 0.71 in 2020 to 1.51 in 2022. So it means that the company is more leveraged than it was in the past, and it is more like vulnerable to interest rate changes. And for the last one is about ratio of interest-bearing debt to total assets. The ratio of interest-bearing debt to total asset increased for about 40% from 0.35 in 2020 to 0.49 in 2022. So it means that the company is using more debt to finance its operations. All right, we are going to continue to the PSAK analysis. So the first one we chose the PSAK number 5. It's about operation segment. So PSAK 5, the entity discloses information that enables users of financial statements to evaluate the nature and financial effects of the entity's operating activities. So we can see here, right here, that the operation segment of PT Kino Indonesia Tbk that use the domestic market, and then they export their products to the Western, and it's the same as the PT Martina Berto Tbk that they have the geographically segment that use the domestic market and then the international market. So between PT Kino Indonesia Tbk and PT Martina Berto Tbk, it has the same operation segment. And then it can be seen on the screen that in 2020, PT Martina Berto Tbk experienced a basic loss per share adopted from 2019, where the percentage exceed 100. So this is very bad for PT Martina Berto Tbk. Then in 2020 towards 2021, PT Martina Berto Tbk still experienced a basic loss per share adopted from the previous year, namely 2020, for about like 26.79%. Then from 2021 to 2022, PT Martina Berto Tbk will still experience a basic loss per share, which is again adopted from the previous year, namely 2021, amounting to for about 71.66%. So it can be concluded that PT Martina Berto in the last 3 years has continued to experience losses per basic share, which is very bad sign for PT Martina Berto, because this affects the confidence of potential investors to invest their capital. So like the basic value per share in several periods can be used as a reference for assessing company performance. Therefore, it is concluded again that the performance of PT Martina Berto Tbk is quite bad. And then so PT Kino Indonesia Tbk, in measuring and presenting the company's earnings per share, is in accordance with applicable provisions of PSAK 56. So this can be seen in the process of presenting PT Kino Indonesia Tbk's earnings per share in the company's consolidated financial statements. Furthermore, the disclosure and calculation of PT Kino Indonesia Tbk's earnings per share have been discussed in the company's financial report notes, or we also call it CRLK. The way PT Kino Indonesia Tbk calculates the company's profit per share is by dividing the net profit attributable to the owners of the parent entity or their shareholders by the weighted average of outstanding shares. So we can see from the image above that on 2020 there was a decline in basic net profit per share. like for about 78.2%. Then from 2020 to 2021, there was another decline of like for about 5%. And finally, there was another drastic decline from 2021 to 2022, amounting to more than 100% due to the statement. All right, so for the comparative conclusion, PT Kino Indonesia TBK and PT Martina Berto TBK have accurately applied PSAK 5 in their financial statements. This is supported by the presence of disclosure and presentations along with information about the geographical market segments of both companies specified by PSAK 5. The details of business segment performance and company revenue are thus made clear as the information plays a substantial and significant role in the compilations of financial reports. All right.
Okay, so next is the PSAK 56, or in the scope of earning per shares. So the definition of PSAK 56 sets forth guidelines for determining and presenting earnings per shares within a company. So the objective of PSAK 56 is to set forth principles governing the determination and presentation of earning per share. This is intended to improve the comparability of performance between different entities within the same reporting period and across different reporting periods involving the same entity. And in the next slide. So this is the implementation of PSAK 56 at PT Kino Indonesia TBK and PT Martina Berto. As stated in the annual report, that the PSAK 56 about earning per shares are calculated by dividing the net income for the year attributable to owners of the company by the weighted average number of ordinary shares outstanding during the years. And for PT Martina Berto TBK, also computed by dividing profit attributable to owners of the parent company by the weighted average number of shares outstanding during the years. This is the statement of the company. And the next slide. Okay, and this slide is talking about the measurement from the PT Kino Indonesia TBK and PT Martina Berto TBK. From PT Kino Indonesia, the basic earning per shares from 2019 is 364, while in 2020 is 80. And then the net income attributable to owners of the company has decreased in 2021 from 113 billion to 107 billion. And for the weighted average number of outstanding shares is still the same from 2020 and 2021. This is resulting the basic earning per shares for 2020 is 80, and for the 2021 is 76. And then for the for the period 2021 and 2022, the net income attributable to owners of the company is from the previous 105 billion is decreased all the way to minus 957 billion. And the weighted average number of outstanding shares is decreased, have a slightly changed decrease from 1.428 billion to 1.392 billion. This is resulting the basic earning loss per share is 74 in 2021 and minus 687 in 2020. And then in the right side is from PT Martina Berto TBK. The total comprehensive the attributable to owners of the company is 66,945. And then it increased in 2020 to all the way to 203. And then from the this is resulting for the basic loss per share is 62.57 in 2019, and then in 2022 is 189.92. And then in the period 2020 and 2021, the attributable to owners of the parent company is around 203 billion, while in 2021 is have slightly decreased for 146 billion. This is affecting the basic loss per share, having slightly decreased from 189 to 139. And then in 2021 and 2022, the attributable to owners of the parent company is 149 billion in 2021, and in 2022 is down all the way to 42 billion, affecting the basic loss per share in 2022 is having decreased from 139 to 39.65. And then next. So the comparative conclusion on the implementation of PSAK 56 at PT Kino and PT Martina Berto, that PT Kino and PT Martina Berto both have applied PSAK 56 regarding earning per share well, as evidenced by the disclosure regarding the recognition and measurement of earning per share in the profit or loss report, as well as the financial statements and notes to the financial statements of the two companies. It can be concluded that the performance of PT Kino Indonesia Tbk is better than PT Martina Berto, if seen from the number of basic shares per year in both companies. PT Martina Berto more often experience loss and decrease per basic share, while for PT Kino Indonesia, there is a drastic decrease in the last calculation year in 2022. Okay, continuing to the PSAK 18 regarding retirement benefits program, accounting and reporting. From the definition, this is the post-employment benefit program constitutes the post-employment benefit program constituting an expenditure where an entity offers post-employment benefits to employees upon retirement or termination, whether as monthly income or a lump sum. The entity recognizes this cost when it can determine or estimate the benefits or contributions to the post-employment benefit program before the post-employment period, in accordance with the provisions outlined in the entity's document or practice. This is the reporting from the implementation of PSAK 18 at PT Kino and PT Martina Berto. For the PT Kino Indonesia Tbk. Okay, so this is the reporting from the implementation of PSAK 18 at PT Kino Indonesia and PT Martina Berto Tbk. For PT Kino, the method they are using to calculating the sensitivity or defined benefit obligations is using projected unit credit method at the end of the period. And it has been applied as in calculation pension obligation recognized and reported in the statement of financial position above, in the statement of financial position. As you can see in the slides, the total liabilities from the employee benefits liabilities, deferred tax liabilities, and net long-term loans, from the slide is 70 billion, while for the next year is 102 billion. Totaling the liabilities in 2020 is 1.992 billion, and in 2022 is 2.676. And so and for the next years, from the 2021 and 2022, the total liabilities is 2676, and have a slightly increase in total liability for the 2022 is for 2,683 billion. And with this, the non-current liabilities for the period 2020, the total is 494 billion. For the 2021 is 1 trillion, and for the 2022 is 1.2 trillion. There's a constant increase in the total non-current liabilities from the PT Kino Indonesia Tbk. While from the PT Martina Berto, they are also using the projected unit credit method for the competition in the end of period. And as you can see in the slide, for the non-current liabilities, the total non-current liabilities in 2020 is 91 billion, while in 2021 is have decreased to all the way to 43 billion, and in the 2022 is also decreased for like 36 billion. There is a constant decrease for PT Martina Berto in the total non-current liabilities. Okay, next. And this is the total maturity defined for the PT Indonesia Tbk and Martina Berto. For PT Kino, the discount rate per year for 2020 is 3.95% to 7.75%, while the average salary increase per year is 2% to 8%. The normal retirement age is 57 to 60 years, while the mortality rate is 100% TMI4. In 2021, the discount rate is have slightly changes from 3.95% to 5.09% to 7.50%. And in 2022 has increased the minimum discount rate is increased from 9.09% to 7.22%. So it is from 7.22% to 7.50%. The maximum is still the same, 7.50, but the minimum is increasing each years. And then the salary increase rates is still the same. The normal retirement age is the same, and the discount rate, and the mortality rates is still the same, using 100% TMI4, different from 2019 that using 100% TMI3. And then for the PT Martina Berto, this is the actuarial assumption, while the discount rate from PT Martina Berto is 4.942. And then the right side is from PT Martina Berto, the actuarial assumption, the discount rate growth in future salaries, the decrease is 4.9, and then the increase is 4.3, and from the 2020, and then from the 2019, the discount rate growth in future salaries is 5.670 in the decrease section, and then 5.057 in increase section. And for the 2022 period, the discount rate growth in future salaries is 2.391 in decrease section and 2.158 in increase section. And this resulting in for the actuarial assumption in 2021, the discount rate is 2.778 in decrease, while increasing for like 2.501. Okay, next. And the comparative conclusion on the implementation of PSAK 18 at PT Kino and PT Martina Berto is both have implemented PSAK 18 in their financial statements, and this is proven by the company reporting pension obligations in the statement of financial position on the long-term liability side, with an employee benefits liability account for PT Kino Indonesia Tbk and estimated benefits liabilities employee work. Both companies hold the same main assumption, namely the retirement age of employees who work in the company, where the retirement age range is in accordance with the labor law. Accordance with the labor law in force in Indonesia is around 55 to 56 years. The calculation of employee benefit liabilities at PT Kino Indonesia and PT Martina Berto is the same. So that what is recorded in their financial statement and the calculation are the same. It can also be concluded that if we look at the financial report analysis of the maturity of benefit obligations in both companies from 2020 to 2022, PT Martina Berto is considered to have a higher total than PT Kino Indonesia. However, the total maturity of benefit obligations in this two company has decreased every year. Okay.
All right, thank you. We've come to the end. I mean, the conclusion for all the material that we have explained before. So, PT Kino Indonesia Tbk and PT Martina Berto Tbk face financial challenges in liquidity, solvency, and profitability metrics. So, PT Kino Indonesia Tbk exhibits unfavorable cash ratio and debt to equity ratio, while PT Martina Berto Tbk has unsatisfactory working capital turnover and total asset turnover. So both companies should improve liquidity by increasing current assets and reduce short-term liabilities. All right, so there's a quote for today. In the balance of life, accounting is the equilibrium that keeps everything in check. So thank you all for listening to our presentation for today and for listening of our exploration of financial accounting. So we hope that our presentation has provided valuable insight for you guys. So before we conclude it, so I'd like to extend our gratitude to Mrs. Dewi Sukmasari and Mrs. Syaharani Noer as the lecturer of this subject. So we concluded with thank you so much. We're really sorry if there are so many mistakes that we made on this project-based learning. For the end, I should say wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.